The obstacle isn't there to stop you. It's there to show you who refuses to stop.
Hey guys, here Jeff, MLK Abilities Podcast. Today we're going to go through a specific topic, which is how to get ready for obstacle course race today. So, which means what to buy, how to train, how to get ready, how to have the right mindset to approach obstacle course race. Obstacle course race is, in my opinion, the best way to test you because it involves running, vaulting, mobility, flexibility, pulling, pushing, climbing, crawling, and so on and so on. It's a very complete way to work out and to have fun outside or indoors with the Ninja Warriors, for an example, and work on coordination and confidence and everything that is mentally or physically involved. So how to be ready for this type of events? You have to follow a certain process. First of all, what is obstacle course racing? Obstacle course racing, as I mentioned previously, is a mix of different obstacles you have to go over while you run. Sometimes you can even shoot, like we do to our events, the Western Canada OCR Open. And this is a way to experience the outdoor, in my opinion, like in a funner way than just running or just biking or just whatever it is. If it's another type of race, you have different type of races. You have so what I mean by that is like there is a certain way to do obstacle course, but also different organization. I'm sure most of you are aware of Tough Mudder and Spartan Race, which is the same, where basically you run kilometers, you go over obstacle, you run, you go over obstacle, and so on, but they're not one after another most of the time. It's not a military style. Then there is the Ninja Warrior obstacle course, which is one after another, usually over like 50 to 100 or 200 meters, depending on what it is. But it's different. You can see that on TV mostly. And then aside of that, there is plenty of other races that do the same that does Spartan Race, but just with the different names and so on. The goal is to vault over walls, to cross water, to climb a rope, to crawl to a cargo net, climb a cargo net, to jump, to push, to pull, to lift things, and so on. That's what it is about. And after that, you have the military style obstacle course. This is what I've built at Okanagan Warriors Adventure, where it's an obstacle after another, but built for battlefields originally, and that you find mostly in any military regiment or institutions. Even some firefighters have some to replicate what you can find on the field. And this is where it's from originally. Think about it. This is where you used to find it before it was actually public and so on. And today it's accessible as a sport, as a fun event, or as a way to work out. And nowadays there is plenty of gyms that exist where you can work out some obstacles indoors and put them into your training program to be more resilient, but also to be more capable for a realistic way to train and live. And that close the gap between training and reality. This is what I like about it. Because when you think about it, as a human being, since ages, who are we? We are humans that need to hunt, to provide, to fight, and so on. And obstacle course is a good is replicating that very well. That brings you back to the sources, where you have to vault, you have to crawl, you have to jump, you have to throw, you have maybe to shoot as well. But all that also involves some kind of cardio because you still have to run. And this is a good way to tap right into your instinct, right? Who you are as an animal instinct, survival instinct that we kind of shut down with years. And that's why I think it's very important, not just for adults, but also for kids, to build not just physical capabilities, but confidence. I see many people, and they never trust us every time we go through obstacles, because we say, for an example, when you start the first one at OA, you go over like uh, a line of tires, you just go over like a little wall, and right after we have a ladder to climb. You got to go over the beam and go the other side, and this is high. This is maybe 10 or 12 feet high, and that looks fine from away, but once you're on it, it's shaky. You don't have much to hold on, and people start to cry. People start to see that they are afraid of heights. They are afraid. They don't have much confidence. They don't feel they can do it, and this is where we're here to push them, to show them that they are capable, and we help them to go over these obstacles. And then once it's done, they can go over any type of obstacles. So they don't just live with a sense of accomplishment, but also with a sense of, I overcame something hard that I was not confident enough, and or were not aware that I could do it. And this is the beauty of it. That's why I love doing that, because people live with a sense of accomplishment, and they surpass something in their life. And I think it has way more impact than just going somewhere, having fun, and leaving. When you can learn something and take something away from there, that for yourself, that's great. And so we do this type of things, but also for the kids, it's good because they understand their boundaries, their fears. They can communicate, and they also can ask for help or offer help if they can do so. But also it builds coordination. We can see a lot of lack of coordination, which after that can impact the technique, or to be able to work on techniques. So having the kids going out there, working on coordination, right, left, balance, and so on, this is great to build an overall capable body and mind to overcome such obstacles. Another thing I like to say about obstacles, and if it can help you out to understand or see obstacle course in a different way, is, and this is also, I always say that to people that come to do some team building activity or to do it by themselves, is like, look, when we arrive around the end of it, I say, look behind you, look everything you overcame today, and think about how it was tough, how you were afraid sometimes or not sure about yourself. Think about the impact it had on you. And I usually say that when we are like 2 to 3 obstacles before the end of it, and usually are the toughest one as a team. Like they have to crawl with a stretcher, we give them some gear and so on, and they have to find strategies and not giving up, and they make mistakes and they keep going. And they're so proud, and it gives them a boost to be like, we won't give up now, even though it's tough, and we keep pushing. But the other thing is, I say, look what you accomplished behind. Like, this is huge. You should be proud of yourself. This is great. You can be proud. You know now what you're capable of, so you can live with a bigger, like more confidence. And obstacle course is also it's reflect life. I always say that the starting line is when you're born, when you come to this life. The path where you have to go through is, for where there are the obstacles, is life, the way of life, and each obstacle represents an actual obstacle you have to go through life. And some of them are easy to go by yourself. Some of them require special skills, whatever it's climbing versus balance versus crawling. They're all different skills. And each obstacles have its own features where some of them you need help to go over them, especially when you work as a group. And they forces you to ask for help. And or if you are capable enough, they forces you to offer help to someone else. So I think it's a great representation of life, that sometimes, you go through a hard relationship or a hard time at work, you don't know how to go through, and sometimes it's time to ask for help. It doesn't mean that this obstacle, yes, it can be painful or hard to go and overcome, but it's not impossible. And when you look back, and I invite you right now, you that listen to me, think about an obstacle in your life, whatever, like it was a job you wanted, or a relationship you had to quit, or something you have to learn and overcome. That's an obstacle you have to go through life. Think about one of them and think that now that this obstacle is overcame, think about now how normal it became for you. This is your new normalcy. It's not, you can even redo it tomorrow even easily because you know how it is to go through it. So you may be more prepared, but you can also know that maybe during that obstacle you had to ask for help or even offer help to someone else, which made the adventure even more valuable and enjoyable than if you did not. And then the finish line is where you are dead in a way, but in a positive way. Not a dead that, okay, it's the end of my life, I'm dying and that's it. No, it's in the way that when you overcame all these obstacles at this finish line, you're another person, you transform yourself. And when I talk about such a race, as an obstacle course path, it can also be a race. When you start a race, see it as at the end of that race, I'm going to be stronger, more confident, more capable, whatever it is, whatever you need. That's why you can choose the length, you can choose the difficulty of the race sometimes to go through your level. That's why you should maybe start with a 5 kilometer and then later you come back with the 10 kilometers because you're more confident, you're more capable, and everything that allows you to do 10K now. And each race is a new way to push, and then you can reach a new level where you don't have to start at the wave number 10 during the race, but wave number 3 where you're going to start to deal with elite people. Now it's not just about finishing the course, it's finishing the course in a certain amount of time. And that sets new goals in life as well and standards that you have to work on. But how do you reach that level? So through that episode, I'm going to tell you how to get ready and how you should equip yourself, not just with gear, but overall to reach these levels, to have fun, but still pushing your limits and standards and maybe becoming a very famous athlete in that world, because there is the world championship and you can compete anywhere in the world. The first thing is you have to understand that there is different training programs you can do. You can do it indoors and or outdoors depending on what you can access. For an example, here in Penticton, we have Okanagan Warriors Adventure. So if you want to come and train on the obstacle course, it's outdoor, it's accessible for drop-ins as well. And you can train on the obstacles every so often to prepare for races as well. And you also have some gyms that, they have some and build some obstacles indoors that you can work on, mostly monkey bars and stuff like this. But you're gonna still be limited in a way. But in terms of training program, it's not just being able to work on the techniques and or the obstacles, which I do think is very important in a way. So that's why you still have to invest into maybe building your own obstacles in your backyard if you can, or in your community or in your gym, to be able to enjoy these obstacles, to work on the technique, because some of them is pure technique. It is what it is. But most of them, it's the physical capability. We're going to go through the mental aspect after. But physically, you have to be able to pull yourself, to push and so on. And maybe this message is going to be more for women, because obstacle course is very demanding on the upper body side of the body, where women are more like penalized by that because biologically they're less strong than men overall, and especially with the upper body. So for most women, pulling themselves or pushing, like a dips or pulling like a pull-up is tougher for women. And it requires more energy, which is on a long obstacle course race can impact their performance. Or even climbing a rope with arms only, that requires technique if you can access it with feet. But if you can do it faster with your hands only, arms only, even better for you. You go faster and so on, and It is what it is. If you don't have that, there is very few points that you can actually work out. The first one I would say, and this is accessible for everyone, this is cardio. You have to build cardio. Cardio can be built by running, cycling, and sparring through martial arts. Swimming as well is very good to build a good cardio, but you have to do the distance. All right, staying static all the time is not helpful. So you have to move. You have to run. You have to rock. Rocking is great because it doesn't forces you to run, but you have to carry some weight. But that builds a different cardio that is that can be used for any performance of sports. So rocking, cycling, running, swimming, and sparring with martial arts is great things to do to build your cardio. The second thing that I see that is where people are struggling, and here this is men and women, this is grip. Having a good grip is important. Not just for obstacle course, but to be able to save someone, to grapple with someone, to lift stuff, heavy stuff, and so on. You have to have a big grip, and which means you have to be able to grip and yourself and like grip your weight and not falling or letting go, which you can find usually in rope climbing, vaulting, where you're going to get tired, pulling, which means like rope climb or pull up or push-ups or pulling yourself over a wall for vaulting. This is requiring a lot of strength, and you have to build that. And everything is from the grip. You do not have to do pull-ups first. You can just hang to a bar for 30 seconds, and then you build it up to 1 minute, 2 minutes, and then you can start to pull yourself up and build your back as well. The back is a very strong muscle that everybody have. It's not, we don't talk about the pecs here or the arms only, it's also the back. If you build a strong structure and a strong core, this is easier for you to use your overall body and not just isolated part and limbs like arms, for an example, right? So work on grip strength. You can do some rowing, you can do some pull-ups, just hang bar. Australian pull-ups if you're not capable to pull yourself with a chin-up or a pull-up. Farmer carry is very good to build that as well and build a very good cardio and overall. It's a very good overall exercise to do, farmer carry. So that's the two things that I would call red flags for most people: cardio and grip strength. After that, the other thing I see, which impact as well the overall performance, is the lack of mobility and flexibility. I would say more mobility. You know, what means mobility? Mobility means you're capable to move your body the way you want, and it's especially breaking that mobility from the hips, because the hips are keys. This is your balance. This is what helps you to stay in control, to vault, to crawl, and to make yourself big or small. And the hips, if you're capable to move your hips properly, you can move your body properly, which is your leg, make yourself smaller, vaulting over a thing easily. You don't have to rely on pure strength. You can rely on mobility, which allows you to basically being whatever you want with your body at any time without compensating with strength, for an example. I can say that where some people are going to want to vault over a wall. They don't understand they have to bring their hips over, but some people are going to put everything with strength on pulling themselves instead of actually using leverage with mobility to vault or go over an obstacle. So working on mobility with hips is very important. It's also knees and shoulders. Shoulders mobility is important to vault and so on. So that's what I would work as well. There is plenty of movement you can do, and it can also solve many shoulders, knees, lower back injuries that you think you can only help out with stretching or flexibility, where it's actually come from a mobility issue. So that's what I would do. Now, we went through the different training programs. Well, actually, for training programs, I'm going to tell you what I do. The way I train is I do circuit trainings, which involves different type of mobility and strength movement but I can also adapt my energy level of the day with that. I explain myself here. Let's say I'm very tired today and I got to do full body workout with a cycle system where it's like a circuit training where I have 5 different stations, 1 minute per station, 15 seconds between each station, and 1 minute rest at the end of the round. And I do that 2 to 3 times depending on the day. The good thing with that is if you feel tired, basically the goal is for that minute, you should not break the pace. Okay, for 1 minute, you do not, the goal is not to do like 30 seconds of exercise and then I take 25 seconds rest and then 5 seconds exercise and then I switch. No, the goal is to do 60 seconds of consecutive movement, but I don't care if you break it in less repetition, but at least it's consistent through that minute. You know what I mean? So the goal here is to adapt your energy level. If one day you feel very much in shape, well, you're going to be able to do 1 push-up per second, which means like 60 push-up per minute. Good. But the day where you feel more tired, you're going to be able to do 30 push-ups without breaking the form or the pace over the 60 seconds. Not 30 push-ups and then for 30 seconds and then 30 seconds doing nothing. And this is applicable for any type of exercise. And that's the goal. And this is also the magic of it because you still have to commit into the training. It's not an excuse. You feel less energetic, you're more tired, you can still do it, but at your own pace. It doesn't mean you have to give it 100% all the time, which means you also avoid injuries as well. And you can come back stronger the next day and so on. The way I do it is I do the Greek program, which looks like whatever it is you do. So for an example, my Greek program means like sometimes I do some sprints, plyometric, strength, circuit trainings, swimming, rocking, and or specifics, right? Like something some techniques I want to be better at. Put-ups, for an example, I want to be better at put-ups. I'm going to do a put-up session. And day 1 is 50%. 50% means, the percentage here means 50% intensity, which means I don't have to burn myself 100%. It's not a 100% intensity workout. Usually the 50% is the technical part where I need to be better at something. I want to perform better. I want to become better. I have a better technique and so on. This is what I would do. Or I would do some plyometrics, for an example. You know, something that doesn't require 100% of my intensity. The other thing I would do is, after that is the second day is 75%. So we talk about 75% of intensity. Usually I can do a circuit training with 2 rounds only instead of 3. And I may work differently. I can choose to work like upper body, lower body, or full body. It depends, and this is the beauty of it, is you can build it the way you want. The next day is 100%. This is 100% intensity where I give everything. I got to push my cardio, my strength, everything. I got to push it. This is the day I give everything I got, right? And then the last day is 25%. 25% is rest, which is mostly flexibility, mobility, or just pure rest. I'm doing nothing, or stretching, or visualization. All that is part of the training. That's what I do. And if you zoom out now, you have 25%, and then we restart the new cycle. So from 25%, the next day is 50, and then 75, and then 100. 25, 50, 75, 100, and so on and so on. Which means my energy level is always optimal, and I can work on different aspects where I need to improve, all right? And sometimes, yes, I do 200% workout at a time. Sometimes I take 2-day rest at a time because I need it. I listen to my body, but it's more consistent overall to build muscle, to build confidence, to build cardio, and everything you need to become better. And I figured out that I'm better at doing this, and it also fits my schedule and the way to work out and to use my energy and spend my energy into workouts. It also keeps it variable, more approachable, and more motivating to do it, because I know it won't be the same thing all the time, or I don't expect to be 100% all the time and then being exhausted, and it impacts my everyday life schedule and work and so on. So I like to do that. So if you want to do that, I really invite you to find more information on YouTube. There is plenty of information on it, or to directly contact me. And if you want a training program, come to me and I can build it for you. Hey, quick break. I hope you enjoyed the show. I just wanted to let you know, guys, we're super grateful for your support and listening to us. If you want to help us to maybe enhance the quality of the podcast, to spread the word to more people so we can have maybe other invitees on the podcast, I invite you right now to subscribe and share the podcast, and also leave a review to help the algorithm to help and push the channel. As well, if you want to support us in a different way, you can also buy our merch. Our merch is available. I just put the link below, and you can just, represent MLK abilities to community and support us at the same time. So I hope you enjoyed the show, and let's get back to it. And now we have to talk about the mindset. So about the mindset, this is one of the most important, because if you don't have the right mindset, the body won't follow, all right? I mean, it will follow anyways, sorry. So if you have the good mindset, it's going to follow. If you have a bad mindset, well, the body going to follow. With laziness, not being accountable, not doing the work, not pushing your limits, not pushing when it's hard and so on. You have to push. This is how you become better. When it's not comfortable, this is where you have to push. But the mental, and if you're not sure, you can go back to an episode where I talked about excuses versus reasons when it's hard, when you are in discomfort. So go back to that episode. It maybe help you with that. So what I would do mentally, and I did some Spartan race training camps where I teach people how to go through it. And when we did it, we had a minimum of 3 podiums. Most people were like in the 25%, in the first 25% of runners that they did a great time and so on. So, and I talk about men and women, but the techniques help so much to be faster, more confident, to save time, to be faster, to be stronger. It has an impact. It was a 3-week program and people felt so better. And we train at Okanagan Wars Adventure. I showed them the techniques. They have to practice. They have to practice where they were like top shape. So we started by that. We do a quick warm up. We do the techniques so they are 100%. And then we do a workout to build their, whatever they need to be ready for the race. And then we go back on the course and they do it under fatigue. So they understand that now it's race. It's adapted to the race. It's realistic to the race, because when you're going to race, you're going to be tired. And after doing, 10 obstacles, especially a woman, for an example, you're going to lack some gram strength. If you don't train that to push your body and mind and towards that limit, you won't know how it is. So this is why we do that, so people understand that when you're under pressure, when you are under fatigue, you're still capable if you apply the right technique, and also if you build that strength. So we do that, people get confidence, and then the mindset is positively impacted. And I remember, and if she's listening to me, shout out to her. She was one of the racers, and we were at the Spartan race in Kelowna, and the Saturday was a terrible weather. Like, we were in the middle of summer, and we had some snow and huge rain and cold temperatures, and people had to run over there and do the obstacles. Everything was cold and windy and so on, terrible weather. And she didn't prepare with the gear accordingly, even though she finished on top 5 women. And she didn't have the proper gear. She was stressed because she didn't take the right things. She thought it would be sunny and great temperature. And I talked to her, the mental wasn't here. And I said, look, you and I, we know you're capable physically and mentally to go over that race. Now you have to understand that sometimes, especially during races, you have things you can control and things you cannot control. And this is not just in races, this is everywhere in life. And I told her, look, you prepared for this. You know you're capable technically, you have the strength, you have the physical capability to overcome that race. All right? I understand now the race is coming, you start to be nervous, you start to have some adrenaline coming over, that's fair. But don't let it impact your performance. Go over it. Use it as a fuel to become better and to overcome. And I said, look, I have a tube, I have some gloves, but my opinion is don't use the gloves on the obstacles. Take the time to take them off and go over them, because you have to feel, and you're gonna have more grip, right? And remember that when you're gonna start to run, you have to breathe properly. Think to drink every so often you see a water station, to not, you need water even if it's cold. You still need water and you're still sweating. But remember that when you're going to start to run, you're going to reheat as well. Maybe not as you wish or expected, but it's not the end of the world. And it's about the mindset. And she went through it. She was so happy before the race because she had a pep talk and she was like ready to go. But she finishes the races like a fucking champ. She was top 5 woman overall for that race. And that's huge. And at the end of it, she told me, I thought about what you told me, like to never give up, even though it's hard, it's cold, I'm tired, it's wet, it's slippery. I kept going, but also I was so confident because of the technique and the program I went through. I just like burnt out everyone around me. I just like smashed them because of the technique, doing it differently, accepting it that I'm going to be different, but I'm going to be more effective, without breaking the rules as well. And they made it. Most people made it at the spear throw, monkey bars, crawling, they crawl way faster because there is a technique. But rope climb, they did like bosses because with the right technique with the feet, if they couldn't do it with the arms only as well. And that's why we had, with a group of 20, I think we were 20, we had 3 and 4 podiums, if not 5, men, women, and kids, and an overall of 25% of the first races, which is huge, like the top 25%. And this is about the mindsets, because I prepped these people since day one. When I say, look, you decided to enroll in a Spartan race, it's going to be fun, it's going to be good. But if you use your mindset properly before and you prepare yourself mentally before, you're going to be able to push more during the race. And to build the right mindset going to help you when the body will want to fail and to stop. Your mind going to be stronger than it, and the body will have only option is to follow. And before the race, I sent some emails, motivational emails, but also telling them to visualize, to eat well, to sleep well, to not overtrain, to be fresh for the race. Result was here. And I don't count myself in that result. Myself during that race, I think I was number 3 overall. Number 3 overall, yes, men. Number 5 overall and number 3 of my age category. And I had an injury. But I was good. And it's because I also lead by example and they trusted me. So that's why it's important to choose the right coach, to have the right facility, the right program, the right mindset. Now talk about gear. My opinion for the gear is to have the Salomon Speed Speed Cross 5 and 6 nowadays. They're great. There is a good grip. They're made for that. You have some Gore-Tex as well. They're light and they are strong enough to not hurt your feet as well. And this is great for obstacle course racing. Aside of that, I mean, you don't have to overthink it. Just have a pair of shorts. I would say have a long sleeve shirts, t-shirts, because it's helping to protect your skin. You don't want to bleed, and when you use some techniques, you need the elbows and so on. So you have to protect your skin, and that's from the elements. That's what I would tell people to do so. If you want to have extra gear like a belt or a chest rig with some water, they do for sports like marathon, that's fine. Think that it can be in your way when you're overcoming an obstacle. When you vault, you have to vault from further away than closer to the wall, which makes it harder. Right? This is small details like this. Having a good pair of socks as well to prevent any injuries, but to keep your feet warm as well and dry. unless you go in water, of course. But at least it doesn't, scratch or rub your skin, and to open it or to have some redness on it, and so on. Aside of that, this is about gear. You don't need specific gear. You could do it naked, it would be the same. That's what I say, people. It's about your performance and your mindset and physical capabilities. So yeah, you don't need a specific gym. Of course, it's better if you can, or find sometimes some monkey bars in a kids park. Use the environment, like in city, there are plenty of walls. Go in nature to run, jump over, trees, stumps, rocks, crawl in trenches, crawl under, I don't know, whatever it is. In nature, you have plenty of things. Lift some rocks, lift them up, do some hollow around your head, do some twists, do some squats with it, do some, biceps curls. You can work with nature so easily. And when you think about it, obstacle course was built initially, as I said, to overcome the environments, vaulting over things, crawling under things, balancing on trees, or whatever it is. Everything is very natural. After that, we elaborated more obstacles that get more technical. But in the end of the day, you can find most of the things that require the same techniques that you can find in nature or in a urban environment, if not a gym. If you want to train with us, come to Okanagan Warriors Adventure. We have some programs. If you want to train from distance, contact me and I can build a program depending on what you have access. But it's not the end of the world. It's very specific, because the best, as I say, is to have the actual obstacles to work on it, to work the techniques. But if you can attend some workshop, that's also the best as well. So I hope this episode helps you to understand obstacle course racing, which is accessible for kids, adults, elders, whatever it is. By the time you go over there, have fun. This is the most important. The rest is, ego and competition, which is fine. I'm the first one to compete. I love competing. But the most important is to have fun and to avoid getting injured, because we understand unless you do that professionally, this is not the luxury you can do, and to push too much to the point where you take too many risks. So I'll leave you with that, guys. If you have any question, opinions, comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section. Share it to someone in a group, in your gym, in a partner, whoever it is, someone that gets ready for an OCR competition. Please do so. Subscribe, share, like, comment. Keep working out, and I hope to see you at one of our races at some point. All right, take care, guys. Stay strong.
In the next episode,
there is a lot of good things, but also bad things in sports we have to be aware of. And I think that it can be also an issue to make kids think that they can become a professional. There is 0.1% of